You're listening to the Topcast, the original podcast for growth-minded instrumental music and voice teachers since 2015, with your host, Tim Topham. Our mission at Top Music is to empower instrumental music and voice teachers to find and nurture their innate creativity so that they can teach lessons that are innovative, integrated, and inspiring, and that will have a positive lifelong impact on their students. Join us each week as we interview teachers and creators from around the world and unpack fun and exciting ideas to maximize your teaching and studio business success.
Tara Wright here, and welcome back to the Topcast from Top Music Co. At Top Music, we love guiding and supporting music teachers just like you to engage, motivate, and inspire your students and run the most sustainable studio business possible using our integrated music teaching system. It's great to be with you for another week of the Topcast. Our episode today is all about planning your year. It's all about the big picture planning. In this episode, I will tell you how I plan my entire year, and we'll talk about non-negotiables and dive deep into what is actually going on in your life throughout the year. So grab your tea and let's get started. Now that we've looked at where we've been, and we've done a little bit of mind mapping, the next step in my planning process is to look at my yearly overview. So there's a lot of moving pieces to my life at any given moment, and I'm all about trying to balance my work and my life. Now, some seasons it's more work, and some seasons I block out for a bit more life. Now, I like to bulk schedule things and do bulk planning and doing things in an organized way. Bulk like scheduling things that allow me to have work and life balance and have a life in addition to running a very demanding business. And one of the ways that I keep my life organized is with my yearly, my quarterly calendars, and my daily and weekly planners. Now, in this video, I want to share with you how I look at the big picture of my year. I love getting one of these really large calendars. I believe this is like a 36 by 24. And I actually purchased this on Amazon, and the frame I got from IKEA. But I'll have these linked below for you, or similar options that you can use for in your studio. I actually have a row of these hanging in my office. So what I do is I have my big yearly overview, and then I have quarterly overviews. And I actually do these for all the different businesses that I help manage and run. So if you ever come over to my house, you'll just see a bunch of these large calendars. But this is how I go about planning and how I can get everything in my life kind of under control as much as I can. Now, the first thing I do with my yearly calendar is I mark off my non-negotiables. So these are events or days that are important in my life. So that could be a vacation I already have planned. So I know I'll be going out of town in February. So I mark that off saying, hey, I'm going to be gone these days. So be aware of that. Now, other days I'll mark off if I have birthdays in my family, or if I have conferences I'm going to, or anniversaries. What are the big things that are happening in your life, and when are they happening in your life? The next step I like to do is I like to think, what is happening in my life at any given month? So I know that September is a really big month for Swing City when we're doing band instrument rentals. So that is a really heavy month for me when I'm looking at a lot of different contracts and processing a lot of different payments. That's also a time when we get really busy with a lot of new students. So in September, I know I can't really book a whole lot outside of Swing City because I am very focused in on that. I also know in April, my ostriches are going to start laying eggs, which means I need to make sure my incubators are ready to go. And I want to make sure I am planning for April to be an ostrich month, if you will. Then, because of all the different businesses, I also have what we call launch periods. So with Melodic Mentors, I have launch periods. With Top Music, we have launch periods. And sometimes those are already planned out. So I want to put those on my calendar. So I know in January, we're going to actually launch this course. So I'm going to be in launch mode for Top Music in that month. I know I'm also going to launch a bunch of stuff for Melodic Mentors that month. In February, I know that we're going to be doing another launch. I'm launching a lot of stuff this year. So I have my launches pretty much blocked off. I also know I have some concerts already planned because I love going to concerts. So I will mark those days off. And because I have to work every other Saturday, I mark those Saturdays off for my entire year. Now, the thing with some of these, even though I may have to work on April 15th, I know I can change that date if needed, but I like to try to stick to the schedule as much as possible. So I just put all of those dates on my year so I can kind of have a yearly overview. Then up next, what I do is I will break it down from there, and then we'll start doing quarterly assessment. So I'll take a look at what do I have going on these months? Am I way too busy, or can I fit something else in? So in our next video, I'm going to talk about your quarterly planning and what that's going to look like up on our quarterly big calendar that we have for you. Now, if you want to know about any of these, make sure to check the links below. And if you end up doing any of these big calendars, make sure to take a picture and post them on our Facebook, because I'm really curious to see how you use these planning methods in your life. We'll see you in the next video.
Top Music Pro enables you to be a pro in your own studio because you don't have to reinvent the wheel and you don't have to make up all the answers yourself. You have support.
I think of Top Music as the pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. This site is the whole pot of gold, and there's gold pieces in there that I didn't even know existed.
I am actually teaching a full studio. They're coming online from miles away. So I am certainly thriving.
So what Tim has done is build a global community of piano teachers who are interested, who are engaged. And when you become part of this community, you feel empowered.
My life is different now because I'm not just in an isolated little studio. I have learnt that there are other people out there going through very similar learning curves and sharing these ideas.
I've really gained a lot of skill sets where my teaching is far more creative, far more innovative. I have resources so that I can add to it things that I didn't know.
My life and my business are different now because I have the three things that I really wanted: less stress, more money, and more time.
It's going to be fun. Like, I got excited about being a piano teacher. It's revolutionized everything that I do.
I think I've become a more thoughtful teacher, a more organized teacher. The quality of my teaching has deepened.
I feel like I can do this. I feel a sense of hope. I love the creativity it fosters and the openness to thinking outside the box, and it's energizing.
Joining Top Music really solidified that. Like, no, this is your career and you can make a career out of this. That has really helped me be proud of what I do.
It's made such a tremendous impact on the way I think about teaching. It keeps your mind open when you have so many ideas.
My best win from being on Top Music Pro is just having a lot more peace of mind as a teacher and as a business owner. It just gives me that less amount of hours that I have to do with research and everything.
It's a really good place to spend a few pounds, a few bucks a month. What you get from it far outweighs what you have to pay into it.
My biggest win with Top Music Pro was increased student retention and increased income. I have a lot more confidence in how I'm teaching, and I have the resources that I need when I do have questions.
I probably went from about 35 students to maybe like 65. I ended up doing 3 classes and I had a waiting list.
If I hadn't signed up with Top Music Pro, I probably wouldn't have realized that teaching piano is a real job and you can build your whole career around it.
That's the end of the show for this week. If you are interested in learning more about AI, go check out the Top Music AI podcast. Every week, the AI version of me will have a chat with another guest, and we go over all types of content. We talk about AI and how to use it in your music studio. We also talk about teaching concepts without AI. This month, we are talking about jam session hacks, where we're teaching group improv. We've got Battle of the Bots, where we're comparing AI tools for music teachers. And we've got AI myths debunked, what you need to know about the technology changing our world. After our AI segment, they kick it back over to the real life version of me, where I bring my experience to the podcast and let you know my thoughts on the subject. Now remember, AI is here to enhance your creativity, not replace it. With that, next week on this podcast, we are going over Module 6, Planning Your Quarter. I'm Tara Wright, and you've been listening to the Topcast. Speak to you next time.
How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages, both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support, and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts, and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today. If you enjoy this show and want to hear more of our work, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening today. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, visit us at topmusic.co/podcast or check out the show notes. I'm Tim Topham. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your week ahead, and I'll catch you next time.